Alright, time to turn the back of the bike. Must be the wrong size. Yep. If you want to know, last year I went to Bonneville. Tells you right there. What year do you think was the last year I went to Bonneville? I have to figure that out. It's a tough one. That's how you figure it out. Yeah. Unless there's another one somewhere else. There might be another sticker somewhere else. And I wasn't spectating either. Did I drop something? Maybe. Alright. That's out. We gotta put this damn thing somewhere else. Yeah, it's out of the way. Alright. So somewhere in here I'm getting a bad connection. Can't imagine why. Dicking around up in here. I'm going to change the fuel pump. And since then we've been having problems. So I'm going to take these two off here. Adjust things. The adjustment switch is in here, which is, I can't even see what the hell's in there. I'm assuming those are terminals which come in from the other side, which are behind that big box. To get that big box out of there is an act of God. And this has to come out before that one does. Or this has to come out before this one does. This first one out. So, there's my little pot switch up there to adjust the amount of voltage you get. So that's a good place to get up and do that. So if I get these three chinguses out of the way, I got some access. If I drop the fuel pump, I got some access, but that's a big job, dropping that fuel pump. Everything's a big job on this project. That's why I've been avoiding it. Alright, so here's our circuit breaker, which looks perfectly fine. Sure there's nothing wrong with that. There's another big ass coil thing back there. There's some more terminals back there. There's a lot of room on this bike. It's tons of room. Alright. So these come off the battery area. Not sure exactly where they tie in anymore, but someplace. Whenever you see a big cable, that's probably where the juice is at. Oh yeah, there's a big ass terminal back in there. Appears to be tight. If it's tight, it shouldn't be a problem. It's definitely not corroded or wet or anything. It's in a sealed chamber area. Like most of the stuff with electrical, I buried it so you couldn't get to it. Yeah, this stuff's all pretty damn tight in here. That's the cable right off the battery, so you ain't hurting that any. These ones here are good and tight also. No loose wires. You give every wire a little tug and see if there's anything broken anywhere. That's your easiest test you can do for anything. Some kind of a terminal strip way up in there. Yeah. That's for the racing ignition. I think it just stabilizes the voltage because it's going through a capacitor, which eliminates spikes in your voltage because the ignition box doesn't like spikes. It might break something internally. There's your normal ignition for a Harley. Look it up, you want to see what expensive it is. These don't do anything. Stuff's all disconnected. This all went up the retard box up here, which took a big crap, so it's not connected anymore. That was for the nitro system. We're not using that right now. Wires are all good and tight. The resistor is still in there and functioning, it looks like. You have to have that to make the dyno pickups work. Okay. Gotta keep this stuff from rattling around where it doesn't matter, or it doesn't count anyway. Wouldn't hurt to get these out of the way so we're not just bouncing around in here, but yeah. I'm not seeing anything that's a problem. The box isn't rattling like it used to. When the shit all vibrates inside, it rattles in the box. Not that you can really hear it right now, but wouldn't be the first time I had a problem with the box taking a crap. It's been a few years, decades. I don't see anything wrong with anything, which doesn't surprise me. If I saw something wrong, I would have fixed it first time. Alright. So that's the circuit breaker, so if it wasn't working, it would have failed. The system would have shut off, so we know that ain't the problem. The capacitor has no control of the fuel pump, so we know it's not that. It just comes down to the wires over in here. And then these are the cables right here. So I guess there's a ground wire and a positive, and they're both tight. There's two wires coming off here. These must be the hots up top. They are not moving. Yep, they're good and tight, and they're big gauge wire too. Looks like it's all that heavy duty wire I got. It's all F14 Tomcat shit. You ever heard of those things for F16? F16. Yeah. They were using those back in the 90s when I did this. Early 90s they were still using those planes, so that's where this wiring came from. It's Teflon. It's all Teflon. You ain't hurting it. It's good for 5,000 degrees. You ain't hurting that wire. The copper will melt before the housing does, I think. Alright, that's good. Alright, I'm going to zip tie, cut all these zip ties off and do some more playing. Not seeing much. Probably won't find anything. Alright, I'm going to try to clean this area up here a little bit with some squirtum in case there's anything going on there. Alright, we'll be back.